Jeff Jordan is a freshman at the University of Illinois. He wasn't recruited to play basketball here. He came with an academic scholarship and got a spot on the Division I team as a walk-on.
That's a big gamble, but he looked at it as a challenge, which, ironically, I'm saying that's what I would have done. And I'm supporting it, 100%.
You could have gone scholarship-wise to a lot of smaller schools.
Right. I didn't want to play at a smaller school. I didn't want to play at a lower division.
Are you as driven as he is/was?
Yeah, but I don't show it.
Probably more.
Jeff may have his father's competitive drive, but at only 6'1", he's 5 inches shorter than his dad. Small for a big league player. Even getting game time with the Illini this season will be tough.
Is he good enough to be on this team?
I don't think there's any doubt about that. He has his dad's athleticism, his dad's jumping ability. He has to now refine his skills.
Michael, let's talk a little bit of expectations. My dad wanted me to exceed what he had achieved. I think a lot of fathers want that for their kids. And the fact of the matter is, it's going to be very, very hard for Jeff. Have you sat down and had talks about expectations with him?
We do it all the time. The thing that we have tried to tell Jeff is that you set your own expectations. And if you're happy, that's all that matters. You're never going to make everybody happy.
But how do you make that work in reality, Jeff? Because the theory's a great theory, but the first time you're introduced in the arena over here on a game for the Illini and they say, number 13, Jeff Jordan, the room's going to stop for a second. And the crowd's going to go, here we go. And if you hit your first shot, it's going to be loud in there. Right. If you throw up an air ball on your first shot, it's going to get really quiet.
Right.
How are you going to deal with that?
I guess the way I've been dealing with it since high school is just, you got to put it aside. Since I was young and playing basketball, every time I had a problem with expectations or people thinking that I'm supposed to be somebody I'm not, I always came to my parents first.
Jeff and his siblings grew up in a small, sheltered community in suburban Chicago. Michael and their mother, Juanita, were married for 17 years. But last year, after years of messy headlines, they divorced.
Hard for you to break that news?
It was, but he was very mature about it. And the thing that his mom and I, we were very on the same page when it came to that. And our kids came first. We still communicate each and every day.
You lost your dad too early. Did that event, Michael, change the way you view fatherhood and the way you want to be with Jeff and Marcus and your daughter?
Probably more than they know.
After being on the road and missing out on much of his children's early years, Jordan has a lot more time these days to be a dad. Ironically, now the kids, especially Jeff, have less and less time for him.
When he comes to school, I say, you got to call me every 7th day or within those 7 days. Because if you don't call me within those 7 days, the 8th day I'm going to be standing in front of you.
It's only 2 hours away.
It gets to the 7th day, and I call him and say, Jeff, it's the 7th day I haven't heard from you. I'll be there in the morning. 10 minutes, he called me back. So he totally
works, doesn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. Jordan says he never pushed his kids to play basketball, fearing the pressure would be unhealthy. But both Jeff and younger brother Marcus have embraced the game. Perhaps even more than Michael had bargained for.
It got to a point with him and my youngest, they're such competitors, and so am I.
It gets heated?
Do it. Do it. It gets to a point where he's more agile, he's more versatile, so he can do all the moving around on the court. Me, I want to limit my motion. That means I'm going to start backing in.
Make a smaller court.
A smaller court. And it gets to a point where, he starts talking trash, Marcus starts talking trash, and then my game elevates,
Of course, he starts talking trash as well.
I do. It never ends. It ends when I finish.
You can't even not be competitive with your own kids.
Oh, I can.
Yeah?
I just don't play.
Have you beaten him?
Yes. I'll put it on the record, yes. We played...
Ask him how many times.
Okay, but we don't play that much.
You ask him.
We don't
One time?
We don't play that much.
When I beat my dad at golf for the first time, there was no one happier about it than my dad. It didn't thrill you that much?
No, not at the moment.
Is that okay with you, that the fact that he drives that hard to compete with you at a high level? Is that what you want from him?
Yeah, I wouldn't want him to hold back anything, because that wouldn't make any of us better.
Family games aside, Jordan doesn't get out on the court much anymore. He's got his hands in several businesses, a racing team, restaurants, and the NBA Charlotte Bobcats. His years under the spotlight and in the headlines are behind him.
What about mistakes, Michael? Do you ever talk to Jeff and your other kids about mistakes you made and how they should avoid similar mistakes?
Sure. You know, when it comes to, gambling and doing things like that, I mean, I want people to understand gambling is not a bad thing if you do it within the framework of what it's meant to be, which is fun.
With your head not over your head.
Exactly. So my lessons to him is, don't ever go outside your means. Don't ever put yourself in a predicament where now you're going to regret it.
Guiding Jeff is part of being just a regular dad for Jordan, a role that can be challenging when you're an international icon.
Are you worried that you show up at the arena across the way there for one of his games and every eye in the place is going to be looking in the stands at you as opposed to where they should be looking on the court?
Not worried. I expect it. I think it's going to happen. For so long, when I watch him play, people look at my reaction. So I don't show as much reaction as most parents. But yeah, inside, I have all the reaction in the world.
And even if he's a distraction, you still want him at the game?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I can ask him, what I did and what he thought of it. But when he's there, that kind of helps me a little bit because I know people aren't watching me so much. So it's not too bad.